There we go. Oh, let me turn my light on real quick. There we go. Let me mute this so I can still look at chat. How's it going, guys? I hope everyone's having a good day today. Today, we are going to be doing a post-rotation tier list. As you can see, this is the same one if you follow LDF, which I don't know why you wouldn't. This is the same one that he did. I don't know what all these cards do necessarily, so you're going to get my first impressions on some of them. I know what Guardy does. I know that card is pretty good. But otherwise, you're going to be getting pretty much my first thoughts on everything. What I'm going to do, I do have like the translations of cards pulled up here. So what I'm going to do probably is I'm going to start with the cards that I know, like the decks that I know, familiar archetypes. Yo, no, how's it going? Familiar archetypes are probably going to be the priority here. And I'll tier them based on essentially whether I think they're good or not. As tier 1, tier 2. This is kind of weird. I'm just gonna go tier 1, tier 1.5, tier 2, 2.5. Broke that. Okay. Yeah, that seems reasonable. I'm gonna add a not sure tier. No, sorry. This one doesn't want to be blue. This one wants to be blue. For stuff that I think like could be okay, I'm not sure on some of this stuff. Like Lunarok is a deck that like, in my mind, Lunarok should be better than it is. But I think as long as, hi PJ, I think as long as Lost Box is good. So this one, not sure will be like caveats, right? I think Lost Box will still be good next format. Losing Scoop Up Net is really bad. I will just say that. Losing Scoop Up Net is very bad. But I think there are other ways to make it work. There's still a lot of switch cards. You probably do have to bench more Comfey. The Banette looks really good. But outside of that, I'm not too sure. So things like that make sense to the new ones first. Yo, how's it going, homie? See what impact... Yeah, exactly. Oh, do the new ones first to at least see what impact you think they'll have on existing ones. Okay. Hey, Arvind. Can I ask you, Arvind, is that how you pronounce your name? Just so I say it correctly. You want me? Okay, we'll do the new ones first. That seems reasonable. Omnipoke is definitely a more experienced tier list maker than I am. So let's do the ones that I know right off the bat. Let me zoom out a little bit on this. So like Gardevoir EX, right? This card I definitely think is good, right? Psychic Embrace, and often as you like during your turn, you may attach a basic Psychic Energy from your discard pile to your Psychic Pokemon. If you do, put 2 damage counters on that Pokemon. You can't use this ability on a Pokemon that be knocked out, which is fine. That's good. The attack for 2 Psychic and a Colorless, 190. Heal any special conditions. The attack is nothing crazy. Obviously, it's not super special, but that ability is insane. Obviously, it's 310 HP. It is a stage 2, but that is nothing to scoff at. That's a VMAX level of HP with an absolutely insane ability. I will say the Dark Weakness could be a little scary for it. Depending on what you're pairing Guardy with, I think it could impact it a bit, just because I do think Drapion is going to be popular, especially Drapion in those Mirage Gate decks will remain popular because Mew is going to be massive. And in most decks, right, like Drapion's not going to do anything to you because they have no Fusion Strike Pokemon. And in any decks that are playing Mirage Gate, they can just set up the Drapion to attack, and it will one-shot these. It does give only 2 prizes, I believe, though, which could be worse. I think this card will be good. I think probably of all of the cards in Scarlet and Violet, this is the one that I believe in the most. at least of the new archetypes. This is the one I believe in the most. I'm gonna put it tier 1.5. I don't think it'll be the best of the best. I think it's tier 1.5 or tier 2. My gut tells me that it's tier 2. But I'm gonna put it tier 1.5 because I think I am underestimating it a little bit. I think something that could be really interesting with this, and it'll probably be bad, but the first thing that came to mind when I was like, yeah, Gardevoir EX, was I really want to pair it with Hatterene VMAX. Because you put the 2 damage counters on the Hatterene, you play like Hatterene stall, and so you could go like set up the Hatterene and like heal it off a bunch with like hyper potions and like maybe Cheryl and stuff like that, and then just go move the 2 damage, which is probably not great, but I think that could be fun. Okay, let's read Arcanine. I've definitely read Arcanine before. The Terrastal doesn't. This is useless. I don't know. I'm not going to go on a rant about the Terrastal mechanic. If you want to hear somebody talk about the Terrastal mechanic, Omnipoke in the chat has a wonderful channel where they go over sort of the like tragedy that is the Terrastal mechanic in the Pokemon TCG right now. I think generally, like, say what you will about how healthy mechanics have been for the game in previous sets. The Pokemon TCG, like, generally does a pretty good job of translating the mechanic to the game, right? Like, Z Crystals were bad, like, generally pretty bad, but, like, it makes sense for them to be tool cards, and it makes sense for them to, you know, sort of, like, function the way that they did. Dynamax, huge HP 3 prizers. Are they healthy for the game? Probably not. But did that make sense? Like, from a logic perspective of, like, translating a mechanic from the game to the TCG, it made sense, right? What is this? What is this? Bench barrier is what Terrestrial did. Like, I don't know. It's so disappointing, especially because my personal favorite set of all time is Dragon Frontiers, which is one of the Delta Species sets with, like, the Fire Mew EX and, like, all of these awesome cards. Fire, it's not fire, is it? Is it water? Let me look. I used to own this card, but it's been a long time. Yeah, it's water. It's Fire Gardevoir EX. That's what I was thinking. The Fire Gardevoir EX. When you come from a design team that has made such successful, like, iterations of type changing, why would they do this? You know? Like, it just... Whatever. Okay, let's read the card, at least, right? Raging Claws, 30 plus, attack does 10 more damage for each damage counter on this Pokemon. Okay. I mean, that's not terrible, right? Like, Magma Basin, in theory, like, you can put the damage up a little bit higher. You can play this with, like, Big Charm to get your HP high. And realistically, if the general consensus is that Lugia is worse next format, right? Because there's not going to be any more Amazing Rare Eviltal, so they can't just, like, blow this up. And if you play Big Charm, Amazing Rare Charizard, even with the Choice Belt, is not going to take the knockout. But the things that are going to get this to be, like, a high enough damage threshold, like, does it really matter, you know? Like, that's kind of my question. Let's see, are there any trainer cards that are, like, paired with this that make it, like, relatively good? Maybe I'll just read some of these cards first. Top 5 cards of your deck, choose up to 2 basic lightning energy and attach them to your bench lightning Pokemon in any way you like. That seems really good. I love Max Elixir. That's a cool Ultra Ball artwork. It's not as good as the Crown Zenith one, but use this card, shuffle your in your deck, draw 8, ends your turn. This card probably would have been pretty decent before Sword and Shield. Before they took away turn 1 supporters. Similar to Lily, right? Although you could still do stuff on the turn you Lily, so. Research, I like this artwork. Search your deck for an item card and a tool card. Put them in your hand. That seems okay. Choose up to 5 Pokemon cards from your discard pile. Reveal them, shuffle them into your deck. Yeah, that's probably good for control, right? Seems not bad. Once during each player's turn, that player may flip a coin. If heads, they search your deck for a Pokemon card, reveal it, and put it into their hands. I'm not a huge fan of like flip cards. Okay, so let's go back up. Arcanine seems fine. I don't see this deck being good. I don't see a world in which this deck is like Big Charm rotates. Okay, well then it's definitely not good. Oh, right. Yeah, Big Charm does rotate. So there's not really a way to like boost this thing's HP either because you can't cape it, which also rotates, right? Giant cape. That's not right. Cape of Toughness. Does this also rotate? What sets it from? It also rotates. Yeah, I don't know. This just seems like very mediocre. Like, I don't know. I would rather just like find a way to make Heatran, Radiant Heatran good than ever play this. It's, I mean, again, it's a high HP 2-prizer, but like, meh. I'll put it in Rogue. I'm sure there's like a way that it's not terrible. Like anything that can take advantage of Magma Basin. Let me clarify that. Magma Basin is a very good card. Magma Basin is a very, very good card. Anything that can successfully take advantage of Magma Basin is at least marginally good. I just do not see this deck ever beating Mew. And I would like to say, like, right from the get-go, I think Mew is probably by far the best deck going forward. Like, I think we go back into a Mew meta because it doesn't really lose anything, right? Like, it's gaining Nest Ball. It loses Quick Ball, I guess, which kind of sucks. But outside of that, Mew doesn't really lose anything and is still incredibly strong. And it loses, like, a somewhat bad matchup into Lugia, right? Like, obviously, Drapion is still a card that exists. But a lot of the decks that play Drapion successfully, especially, like, the Sky Seal Stone ones, Lost Box is losing Scoop Up Net, which could be a huge hit. I don't think it's going to be that big of a hit, but I don't see this deck ever beating Mew. And if this deck's not beating Mew, it's probably not that good. Let's look at Magnezone. Okay, so this can take advantage of the new Lightning trainer. Energy Crush for a single Lightning, 50 times the number of energy attached to all of your opponent's Pokemon. See, that makes sense because it's Energy Crush, but it is a little disappointing. If it was your energy, I would think this card would be really good. But into stuff like Mew, like, you're never doing that much. 2 Lightning, 220. This attack does 30 damage to itself. Meh. I mean, you set it up pretty easy, right? That's like kind of a nice thing, is you set it up like relatively easily. Let's look. Any other random electric cards? Search your deck for a basic Lightning and attach it to this Pokemon. Okay. Yeah, this is the one. We're not there yet, but that's the one that we're gonna look at with Lightning types. Yeah, Magnezone seems bad. I don't see Magnezone really doing anything. It takes advantage of something similar to this with the Max Elixir for Electric Energy, but I would almost rather play Arcanine than this because I think Fire type, like a Water weakness to me, doesn't seem as significant as the Fighting weakness, especially because, as you'll see later, I think Urshifu is actually quite strong moving forward. Obviously, ADP is a deck that exists. I don't know what this Annihilate does, so I'm not sure. Banette, I'm going to put in tier 2.5, but we'll go look at it. There we go, yeah. Banette X. Poltergeist, which actually, this is kind of nice. Let's read the Shuppet first. Wrapped in Shadows, 10 damage. Flip a coin if heads, your opponent can't play item cards from their hand during their next turn. So in theory, if you go second, you can do this and then start the lock a turn early. Marnie is going away, which means that one of the best ways for your opponent to lower their hand size is going away, which is not bad. Obviously, Judge is still in the format, and I think Judge will see quite a lot of popularity, especially in something like Mew. Banette has 250 HP. It's not anything crazy. And then we'll read the Banette as well. Eternal Darkness, Also does your opponent can't play item cards from their hand during their next turn. 30 damage is only a single psychic energy, which is not bad. And then Poltergeist, which we've seen on things like the Gengar Mimikyu tag team EX to some success. My good friend Alex Szymanski played it to Worlds. Yeah, I mean, Gengar Mimikyu was good. This is cute. It's not too difficult to set up, so I could see it being like decent, but I don't think it'll be that good, especially with Judge being so popular. I do think this deck could have a decent matchup into Mew, especially if you can like lock them from item cards early enough. If you can get that turn 2 or turn 1 if you go second, if you can get that item lock up and established, it can be really, really decent into Mew. It can be really, really decent into things that need rare candy. Like, I doubt the Gardevoir EX is really going to utilize candy to the full extent that maybe some of the other stage 2s will. Mostly because the Kirlia that exists has trade, so it's very good. Yeah, I think this could be okay. I think it will struggle into some stuff, though. Like, a lot of the stuff that's going to be good, again, I think we'll take, like, marginally decent matchups into this. Obviously, Urshifu is not going to have the best time. Sorry, one second. I'm going to pull up the chat on my phone. I think that's the smartest way to do this. That way I don't have to keep going back and forth between stuff. But yeah, I think ADP is going to be like relatively strong again, and I don't know. I think Banette will be okay. I think Banette will be all right. I think it could go as high as tier 2. I think it's one of those decks that, like, metagame dependent could be very strong. So let's see what else. I don't know what this Houndstone does. Let's look. Grave Visit, attack does 10 damage for each psychic Pokemon. There's no way. There's no way this is good. It's not that bad. Can read the Annihilate. Enraged Fist. Why wouldn't you just call it Rage Fist? That's the attack name. Whatever. Stack does 70 damage for each prize card already taken by your opponent, and then 170. So you would need them to have taken 4 prizes to one-shot things. This is bad, probably, right? As a deck, as its own deck, this is bad. I could see it being okay in, like, a different deck that utilizes fighting energy. Like, maybe the Arcanine random thing could do it, but we'll see. Okay, other random stuff. Ampharos. I have not read this one. Electric Ball, 330 HP. Oh, Elec Ball, 60 damage. It's not great. Discard 2 energies. If you do, it's 240 for Lightning Colorless. I mean, it's not that hard to set up, and you can use, like, the good Flaffy. Honestly, I could believe in this. I could believe in this. I could believe Ampharos is, like, decent, actually. This seems not bad. Especially because you can utilize the good Flaffy, like the Evolving Skies Flaffy. I could believe that this is, like... Music is loud. Okay, one sec, I'll turn it down. My bad. Is that better? It's just fine. Next form is just a turn slow, like every other deck but Mew. Right. Okay, so yeah. I'm gonna go tier 2. I kind of believe in this. The fighting weakness is a little tough. I think I believe in Urshifu a touch more than most people do. Because I actually think like Melanie Urshifu with Radiant Eternatus seems like kind of cracked. I don't know if it will end up being cracked, but I think it could be pretty good. Let's see. Other new cards. Miraidon, and then is that Great Tusk? It looks like Great Tusk. I don't know what that does either, but Let's read Miraidon. Oh, well, it's right there. That's convenient. Let's read Great Tusk first. Great Tusk EX, 250 HP. A Psychic weakness, which is interesting. It's probably not great, the Psychic weakness. They both have a Psychic weakness. If this was weak to, like, water, that'd be better. 3 fighting energy, 250 this attack does. 50 damage to itself. Discard a Stadium's not terrible. Yeah, seems whatever. Dino Cry. You may attach up to 2 basic fighting energy from your discard pile. If you use this, your turn ends. 220. During your next turn, this Pokemon can't attack. Huh. I'm not gonna lie, that seems kind of bad. That seems kind of bad, especially in a Mew. Yeah, I'm good. I don't see that being great. I don't see that being great. Rotom V-Star's new, but we'll go to like new cards first. Okay, Miraidon EX, I'm gonna put up here as well. It might go to tier 2 actually. We'll see. Let me search your deck for 2 lightning Pokemon. Put them onto your bench. Shuffle your deck. Your turn doesn't end for this one. 220 damage. Plus, you have the Max Elixir for lightning Pokemon. I think this card is really good. I think you might need to play 2 Drapion or like Drapion Skyseal Stone to beat Mew. But this card seems very good to me. I think it will likely be the second best deck to come out of Scarlet and Violet. My biggest complaint with Scarlet and Violet is basically the same as everyone else's, right? It's the cards are like pretty stale. This is not anything crazy, but I do think this card has a lot of potential. I will say I'm kind of curious why, because like you could play this with the Mareep. Like you could just play with the Mareep line and just add an Ampharos into that deck if you need something a bit bulkier. Because Mew VMAX is gonna have a very hard time knocking out like Ampharos EX. So I could see you playing this with the good Flaffy and then also just like throw in an Ampharos EX as well. But yeah, I think this deck will be very good. I actually think I'll put it in 1.5. I think Gardevoir will probably be slightly better, but I think Miraidon is good. I do actually think this would be a good card. Okay, am I missing anything? Oh, there's Spidops. There's a couple of Spidops decks here. Let's see if there's any like other smaller cards that are going to be new to this. Because there's Arceus there's Eviltal Spidops, and then Spidops Leafeon. And if I remember correct, Spidops increases. Yeah, it increases retreat. And you can play multiple of them. It does stack, which is interesting. It's a little bit of a shame that Galar Mine is going away. It is, right? Let me make sure that that's true. I think that's an older card. Yeah, Rebel Clash. It is a bit of a shame. What's the attack do? Wire Hang. 30 more for each energy in your opponent's active Pokemon's retreat cost. That's not terrible. This doesn't seem terrible. Having to put a 2 prizer on the field for any Eviltal deck feels kind of bad. So immediately I'm going to put this there. I think there's very low chance that this is good. Especially with Lugia. Although it could be good into Mew. It could be good into Mew. Although I've tested a lot of like energy lock decks into Fusion Mew. It's basically, I think, sorry, I'm reading. I think one of the best things to come out of this set is likely to be Rev Room. Yeah, fair enough. Eviltal Spidops is basically just control. Yeah, that makes sense. Big Pig. What is Big Pig? Is that Oinkalone? Is there an Oinkalone in this set? Where is it? For each of your opponent's bench Pokemon, flip a coin of heads. This Pokemon can't attack during your next turn. You think this is good? Is powerful colorless rotating? Yes. Okay, we'll get back to that. We'll get back to that. If PJ, if you want to defend it, you let me know. That doesn't look good to me. So I'm gonna put this in Rogue. I think this is gonna be very meta dependent. Because I don't think that it necessarily successfully beats Mew. I think if the Mew player plays intelligently, they can almost always get around this, especially if you have to put Spidops in play. Like if you just like, I mean, I don't know why you necessarily would. I guess you could just Yveltal spam, but you lose Snorlax, which is a pretty huge blow, in my opinion. Losing Snorlax is a pretty huge blow to control decks. I think, yeah, you also lose Eldegoss. I don't know. I'll put this in Rogue. I think it's going to be meta dependent, especially with Lugia getting worse. Dunsparce, Cheryl, V-Guard, Sharon's Care. Yeah, I know it gains Klefki. But it's just, it removes basic Pokemon's abilities, right? Isn't that what that does? Let me read it. Klefki. Has to be active in each player's basic Pokemon. Yeah. Meh. I think this card is good. I just don't think it's good in control. I don't think that's the place. Control keeps Ice Cube, Pidgeot, Miltank, and gets Klefki, which is true. Those are all true things. Glenn, hi. Gabby, hi. Hope you guys are doing well. PJ, why would you ever play Oinkologne instead of... I don't know. I guess you can attack for 1 energy. Right. And it doesn't just lose Wash. It also loses Parasol. Right? Yeah, it loses Wash and Parasol. So even if decks aren't playing Lost Vacuum, right? Like sort of right now the meta kind of doesn't necessarily play Lost Vacuum in like the most popular Lost Box deck, the Rayquaza. So you can't even Parasol the Ice Cube. So I don't know. Control seems weird. I think Control, especially Yveltal Control, is good right now, mostly because Lugia is good right now. Yeah, Sander's definitely going to break some variant of Control. I don't think that this is, looking at the format currently, I don't think this is the format for Control. I'm going to keep it in Rogue for right now. I'm going to put this one in Bad. This is just worse Galar Mine, in my opinion. Yeah, so we'll get rid of that. Okay, this... I'm going to put this in Not Sure. It's just it's too broad of a card. We'll work our way backwards through some Crown Zenith stuff here. Because that's also like relatively new. We can talk about my feelings into some of those cards. Okay. Pig has Galar Helmet too. That's funny. I do want to look at the VMAXs that are staying. Okay. Yeah, so around here. Does any of this stuff matter? No, it doesn't. Corviknight could be okay. Yeah, Corviknight could be okay into with the Rat-E-Turn. I think Urshifu is going to be really good with Rat-E-Turn. But there's just so much stuff you can pair it with, right? Like Shadow Rider's okay. I actually don't hate Lugia Tornadus as opposed to Lugia Urshifu, but we'll see. I guess it depends, right? Because the Urshifu has the Psychic weakness into Mew, which is a little tough. But this doesn't. So maybe you play one of these in the Lugia Urshifu or something like that. We'll see. Other random stuff that Radiant E-Turn gets out. I mean, like, Sylveon, I guess. I don't know. It probably Duraludon still ends up being, like, the premier way. Duraludon, maybe Flying Pikachu in there as well. I feel like that's still going to be the premier way to play Radiant Eternatus. And all Lost Box-based decks are taking a hit. There's really no other way to put it, right? It's like every single Lost Box-based deck is taking a hit with no scoop up net. The pig is dense. Okay, fine. You know what? I'll believe it when I see it. I'm not looking forward to playing against Gearhart at locals when he plays Oinkolo. Let's just say that. I'm not looking forward to that. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna put that one in not sure. I really don't know. But I am gonna put Melanie Urshifu in tier 2. And this is like Rad E-Turn Urshifu. I do think this deck will be good. I think Urshifu will make like a pretty decent resurgence. Depending on how popular Gardevoir is, like the Psychic weakness is not insane. Insanely good for Urshifu, obviously, but I think especially into Mew, like 2 Drapion or like anything of the like is pretty decent. I think Dark Urshifu could also see play again. No Inteleon makes that one a little worse in my mind, but I do think this one is still very reasonable to pull off, because without Inteleon, Baby Moltres feels a lot more difficult, especially with Heavy Judge in the format. But this with just like Octillery seems pretty solid. So I'm gonna put that there as a Radiant E-Turn deck. I'm gonna put both of the Riders in Rogue as Radiant E-Turn decks. I don't think either of them are particularly good. I think Shadow Rider is probably better than Ice Rider. You maintain a lot of things, like you can still play Ice Rider B-Barrel. That doesn't really change, but Ice Rider B-Barrel always had a hard matchup into Mew, and I don't see that changing. Especially because you have to B-Barrel Raw Draw into like Drapion Sky Seal Stone if that's the play that you're going for. I think Tina gains a lot. That's fair. I do think Tina will be good. I do think Tina will be good. I'm not sure if it'll be the best Lost Zone variant. I haven't done a lot of thinking into it. I think Tina is probably the one that is the least impacted by Scoop Up Net going away. I think any of the like Mirage Gate to a V Pokemon are gonna be in a better place than like the basic ones are, right? Because at least in the basic versions, like theoretically Scoop Up Net in Sablezard is good for everything. Whereas in Tina, you're never Scoop Up Netting the Giratina. I think you can replace those things more easily, but especially because if you're just looking for Mirage Gate, you only need 7, which isn't that terrible. So maybe Lost Box won't take as big of a hit as I think. I'm not sure. I'm a little suspect, but I don't think Lost Box will lose as much as like a lot of other people think it will lose. But I think it's definitely taking down a step. And I think because of that, Rotom V-Star will be a lot better. Rotom V-Star loses Big Charm, loses Giant Cape, which sucks. It does suck. But I think Rotom V-Star will be kind of cool. I think this deck will be better. I think the less popular Lost Box is, the better this deck is. And like Reggie's also goes away, which is a tough matchup for this. I don't think Lost Zone decks in general just like disappear. But I think that like the basic centric ones that Rotom tends to struggle with are going to see less play in favor of like Giratina, which could also be a bad matchup. I haven't tested that matchup extensively or anything, but Reggie's going away I think is a really big win for the Rotom V-Star deck. This might be a little too high. It might be down a peg. Unless, does Speed Lightning Energy going away matter a lot? Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it's definitely decent in Mew. Lost Box Mirror is going to be so toxic though with Halucha since you have to bench. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I agree. I think a lot of the Lost Box decks will be around tier 2 to tier 2.5. I think Tina and honestly probably Goodra will be tier 1.5. Tina definitely 1.5. I think Goodra probably tier 2. Goodra struggling into Mew is obviously never good. You never want to take a bad Mew matchup, but I do think that you can beat Mew with a combination of things. Like, obviously, Stefan just lost that matchup. But I think the matchup is playable, at least. I think, like, of the decks on this list, it's still playable. If you can stick Temple of Sinnoh early into them, it can give you extra time to set up. I think it'll be okay. I do actually think maybe this is the worst version of Goodra, though. I think this is the better version of Goodra. The Arc Goodra. Yeah, I think this is probably the better version of Goodra post-rotation. I think a lot of Arceus decks are better post-rotation. That's part of the reason I think Urshifu is a lot better, is you're gaining like quite a few strong electric types. But I think Arceus also benefits a lot from Lugia being worse. Lugia being worse is huge. There's really no way around it. Lugia being worse is huge for any Arceus deck. And so I think Arc Goodra will probably be pretty solid. I think Arc Duraludon will continue to be very solid personally. I think it's really good. That might not be a super popular opinion, but I do think Arc Duraludon will be in a pretty solid place post-rotation. Unless is it losing something? Oh, they both lose Hyper Potion, right? Hey Kev, how's it going? Bench Pokemon, Arc Goodra is just bench. Yeah, I agree. I think Arc Goodra is really good. Arc Duraludon losing Hyper Potion's kind of bad, though. I think this might be wrong. I think this could be wrong. Losing Hyper Potion feels really bad. I don't think Arc Goo cares as much about losing Hyper Pop because you can theoretically use Moisture Star. Ooh, yeah, I think I'll move Arc Duraludon down. I agree. Yeah, Arc Goo just judge spamming does seem pretty good. Yeah, this seems tough. I do like the fact that Duraludon no longer needs to play Parasol to be good, but yeah, no Hyper Potion. Is Hyper Potion necessary for the Mew matchup, though? That's what I'm trying to think about. Because the Mew matchup is kind of decent anyways. Like, even without Hyper Pot. But into other stuff, it could be really tough. I think we'll stick Arc Duraludon there for now, but I'm going to keep thinking about it. I'm not sure. I think this is not good. I think without Inteleon, this is just never happening. We talked about Mew already so much. I'm just going to put it in tier 1. Mew loses basically nothing. It loses Quick Ball, but exchanges Quick Ball for Net Ball. Nest Ball, sorry. This deck is insane. Like, we're basically just going back to a Mew-dominated meta, and I think the meta will generally revolve around beating Psychic types. I think Guardy, whether or not Guardy is as good as people think it will be, I think Guardy will be very popular. And I think Mew, as always, will be very popular. And so beating Psychic type decks will be very beneficial. Regardless of anything else, I think that those two decks will be very popular. I'm not convinced Gardevoir will be this good, but I do think beating these two will be incredibly important. Special energy decks might just be SS Urshifu, which can wall break Dura. Yeah, it's more about the Mew matchup for me. Like, when I played Arc Dura to Baltimore, it was more just about being, like, big and bulky. Types kind of matter, not the world's list per se. Yeah, I kind of figured. Without healing, yes, I agree. I think no Hyper Potion makes Duraludon worse. Sure. I don't think Lugia is bad. I think Lugia is certainly worse. And I do think that Lugia... Yeah, I think Lugia is definitely worse. You've lost the vast majority of your special energy versatility. And so while I think Lugia now can build to beat specific things, I don't think it's as strong at, like, handling everything as it used to be. I think Arc counters will be a tier 1 deck. I think Arceus becomes much better. I think the fact that Path to the Peak is still a card you can play is very good into a Mew meta, even into a Gardevoir meta. I think that that's very strong. Being able to turn 1 Path to the Peak somebody and then Pumpkaboo it away the next turn, Starbirth, get another Path to the Peak down is very strong. And especially, like, yeah, I think Arceus counters will maintain a very strong presence in the format. This is bad. Arceus Gengar has never been good. Even when Drew won the regional with it, I don't think this deck actually beats Mew if the Mew is playing properly, or like if you just ever miss. Yeah, I don't like Gengar. I think this is rogue. I think Arceus Gengar is wrong. If you're playing Gengar, I think Lugia makes more sense. Because then at least the Gengar can blow up random other stuff. Other than just like hitting into Mew decently. Hyper Potions being gone again, I think are bad for this deck. Arceus Drapion V-Star. I'm gonna read Drapion V-Star real quick. Just for serendipity's sake. I don't know what the attack does. I just know the ability. Here we go. Let's pay an homage to the 10 less damage for each damage counter. So if you get hit by a single attack from a Mew, you're not one-shotting with this. Chelsky, hello. Okay, Arc Drapion is big copium, but like it kind of does everything in one package with Drapion. Like, that's an art deck that can have the best Mutant plus Drapion V-Star Belgate Oko. I think this is copium. LDF, I think this is copium. I know. But 190 and doing 60 to yourself is not that good. I think this will beat Mew, for what it's worth. I think this will beat Mew. Like, I'm being a little wrong by going, oh, take damage from Mew and it doesn't KO. It doesn't, but like into any matchup, right? Like if something just hits this for 220, how are you healing it? It's better than Arc Gengar? Yeah, I think it's better than Arc Gengar. I agree with that. But do you think it's a whole tier better than Arc Gengar? Why wouldn't you rather just play this? Why wouldn't you rather just play this with, like, a Drapion V? I guess. I mean, being able to just play, like, a Flying Pika in it. I agree that it's better than Arc Gengar. Sorry, these are not ordered in the tiers. I should have clarified that. These are not ordered in the tiers. I'm just putting them in the tiers. This is definitely better. But do you think it's good? I don't know. This seems not good to me. Because Drapion V is a very inefficient attacker into other matchups. And, like, yeah, you can evolve it. But if you evolve it and it's taken any damage, that's also really inefficient. Like, I would much rather just play a Drapion V or 2 Drapion Vs in a different deck. I would love to be wrong. I'll wait. I'll wait for a response. before moving on, because I'm willing to be wrong about this, but any card that reads this attack does less damage, 10 less for each damage counter on me, like the least you're getting hit for in this format's like 120, and then it's what? Because it's 250 minus, right? Yeah, 250 minus, so then you're only doing 130 damage. Like, I don't know. It's like an Arctina deck with a better Mew, but needs to play damage mods and maybe healing. Right, but I agree with that. I think if there was efficient healing in the format, I would agree with you. If you could play Hyper Potions in this deck, I would think that it was really good. But you can't, so that leaves you with, like... Does Cheryl even make it past rotation? No, right? It does. You could Cheryl, but it's a 3 attack cost, right? Or is it only 2? If it's only 2, I'll put it a tier higher. It's 3. I can't. There's no way. Radiant Serene. No. Right. Okay, so yes, but my counterpoint to that is then why is that deck not this? Right? Because you described this deck as Arceus counters and not necessarily the world's deck. So why is that not this? Because to me, this is Arceus Drapion and this is Arceus with counters, which in theory you could just play like a 1/1 just retreat or collapse it or something and keep arc slamming. Yeah, I guess that's fair. Okay, I'll move it up 1. I'm not convinced, but you're right. I mean, it's certainly, like, in this tier, it's certainly the best deck, right? Like, there's no way. Also, this has to be better than this, right? Because I'm basing that on meta. Whatever. I'm going to keep it as it is for right now. And then I'll come back. Because some of this doesn't make sense. I think Miraidon's probably better than that. But whatever. Let's keep going. Is there any other deck that I think is tier 1? No. I don't think so. I think Arctina is similar to all of these. I think pretty much all of these are the same. Is Arc Regidrago Copium? Regidrago, we don't lose any dragon types, right? You lose... I mean, you don't really lose anything, right? For Arc Regidrago. You don't really gain anything either. Like, why is this... This is not ever better than, like, Goodra, right? Because you have to get stuff into the discard. I guess it's more flexible than Goodra. This also might be better. I don't hate Arctina. I really liked Arctina for a while. I was on the Arctina hype train for a while. How come Miraidon not tier 1? Yeah, I could see that. I could see that, Joe. How come Miraidon not tier 1? I don't think it's tier 1. Is the short answer. Hello, Dominic. Welcome in. Penguin, welcome in. Yeah, the short and long answer is I don't think it's tier 1. It's definitely not better than Gardevoir, and I don't have Gardevoir tier 1, so I think it should stay tier 2 or tier 1.5. I kind of like this. The more I think about Arc Regidrago, the more I think it's like kind of nice, especially because the energy that you naturally play lets you play Radiant Charizard. You could naturally put Radiant Charizard in this, which feels nice. Is there another Radiant you would prefer, though? Like, this needs Guardy, right? And in theory, this wants Guardy or Greninja. I mean, you might want Greninja in this, but, like, you could just put... Okay. I'm kind of on the Arc Regidrago hype train, actually. That sounds kind of nice. Any deck that can fit Radiant Zard naturally, I think is good. And you can probably pretty easily play Raihan in this to make like a Charizard turn a turn early. And Charizard one-shots Miraidon, which will not be insignificant. It one-shots Banette without any items really being necessary. In theory, it can one-shot Arceus, it can one-shot Tina. And like this also gets like Duraludon Shred, and it gets like Tina. It gets Goodra as well, but yeah, that doesn't seem that significant to me. I mean, it's not insignificant, but it doesn't seem that significant to me. I'm kind of on the Arc Regidrago copium, actually. I'm not gonna lie. I'm convincing myself that Arc Regidrago is good. Yeah, okay. I'm kind of fine with this being good, actually. Arctina might be higher then, but yeah, I don't know. Yeah, Arctina feels like a weird. Okay, so follow-up question though. How is Arc Regidrago beating Mew? Because if it's not beating Mew more often than Arctina, I think it's kind of hard to justify it being whole. Well, it's not a whole tier higher. I guess only 0.5. And I actually think Radzard is insane into meta next format. I like this. I think this is good, actually. I think Arc Regidrago is good. I don't think it's as good as some other stuff, but I think it's good. Lunarock. Okay. I'm ready for some hate on this. Oh, no, it's bad. Never mind. Scuba Net's gone. Scuba Net is gone. It's bad. It's definitely bad. Right. Definitely. Definitely, LDF. You're right. You know what? We've convinced ourselves that Arc Regidrago is good. I think that deck is good. I don't think it's as good as like Arc Goo. And the fact that it pulls from the discard without it being an ability, I think is very good. Personally, because it doesn't just die to path, which I think is very, very good. I'm pretty comfortable putting that in bad. I'm assuming this is with Houndoom, or maybe it's Turbo. Either way, I think it's bad, because if it's Turbo, you lose Crobat, and if it's Houndoom, you're playing Houndoom, which is bad. I think Darkrai, by sheer force of what's going to be popular, will be good. I think Darkrai could maybe see some success, especially early on. I think when people are spamming Mew, I think Darkrai could see some early success, but I think as the format develops more and more, and people see, like, find ways to beat Mew, I think this deck will fall off. Unless this is the primary deck that beats Mew, in which case, it'll be good, and that's awesome. Palkia. It hurts me to put Palkia in bad. It does. It hurts me to put it there. Because it's a great card. Palkia is a really good card. But no Inteleon. No Inteleon is really bad. No Inteleon is really, really bad. I think Palkia probably should go here. I think Kyurem is a little better. I think Kyurem's a little better. Because in theory, like, you can Rad E-turn with this. And just, like, you could go Rad E-turn for 2 Kyurems and then just, like, play a 1/1 Palkia. And, like, I think this is okay. Kyurem Palk already wasn't really playing Inteleon. I think this is okay. Palkia 2.5. Funny enough, Darkrai still needs to play Drapion. Palkia Kyogre, interesting. I don't hate that as like an option in theory. I don't know. I don't think that that's good. I think it could maybe like win some cups or something like that, or like take one placement, but it feels a little gimmicky to me. I'm trying to think if I think Palkia Kyurem is actually tier 2. Because it could be. I do think it could be. Palkia Kyurem. I mean, I'm sure its Mew matchup is not as good as you necessarily want it to be, but like you can just play Drapion. And then Kyurem, I mean, Kyurem can one-shot a Mew. And if you're getting 2 Kyurem down early with Rad E-turn, like how likely is it that, like if you go first and Rad E-turn, how likely is it? Losing Guru, yeah, losing Guru is definitely tough. I can't argue with that. Losing Guru is definitely not good. But you still have Melanie. You still have Palkia. You still have B-Barrel. Yeah, Switch Cups. That's true. You could play Switch Cups. We'll leave it at 2.5, but I think that this is like actually somewhere in between there. I think Palkia Kyurem could be good with Rad E-turn. So I should have rated it earlier. That is my bad. What does this card do? What does this card do? I need to figure it out. I'm going to read it real quick. Sorry about that, friends. That is not a language that I speak. As often as you like during your turn, you may move a fighting energy from one of your other Pokemon to this Pokemon. This attack does 30 more damage for each fighting energy attached to this Pokemon. Does stone energy rotate? It does, right? Yeah, it's Vivid Voltage. No shot. There's no shot this is good, right? You lose Cape of Toughness. You lose stone energy. I mean, you get Pickaxe, like Greedy Pickaxe is okay. Am I missing something? Why is this on here? Is this good? Arcanine, Galar, Zapdos, and Miraidon, right? Can Donk? Okay. Yeah. We're putting that there. We're putting that there too. Sylveon. I mean, Sylveon is a terrible Mew matchup, right? Is there a way to fix Sylveon's Mew matchup? I mean, I'm assuming this is Rat E-turn Sylveon, right? So you get like a Sylveon down and like or I guess probably 2 Sylveon down. And then you play, I guess you could play 2 Drapion, but is that enough? Is that enough? It can even play Guardian Engine with Arcana for late game reload Copium. True. You know what, Joe? Just for that, we'll put it higher than Gengar. This is ordered within the tiers. Just this interaction. I don't see why. Is this like, I'm assuming this is one prize Flaffy box then, right? Because I think Flaffy as a card is really good next format. I think this is great. I actually, yeah, after doing this tier list, one of the decks I want to try the most, other than Arc Regidrago, is Miraidon with the Flaffy engine with an Ampharos EX. Sorry. Nah. Play Empoleons for Lost Box. Sylveon is basically counterbox Hopium with Drapion Urshifu. Sounds bad. I don't think it's that bad. Like, when Rad E-turn first came out, I actually was thinking about Sylveon, but I just don't see how it actually is like winning into this format. I guess it could be pretty decent into Miraidon, like the electric stuff. How is it beating Guardy though? That's my question. Is like any Drapion Hopium for me? Raichu V Flaff with Skystone and Elixir kind of popping. Okay. That sounds fun. Is that the sauce, Joe? Wait, I'm down. I'm down for that to be broken. Okay. So, I think Sylveon's 2.5. Here's my thing. I'm going to make a blanket statement about any decks that are like Drapion Copium, right? if that Drapion cannot also attack into Gardevoir, and thus you lose the Gardevoir matchup, that feels terrible. Because if your only counter to Gardevoir is Drapion and you need 4 energy, you're probably not going to get there. Like, and I think Guardy will be really popular. If nothing else, I think Guardy will be very popular. So I don't think this is good. I think it's better than these. Although, is it better than Shadow Rider? Really, is it better than Shadow Rider? I think it's not, but I think that's because maybe Shadow Rider is better than this. I'm kind of willing to move Shadow Rider up. But again, Dark Hate. But if the Dark Hate's, again, I just said, if the Dark Hate is just Drapion, I'm always on Shadow Rider Copium. I still have Shadow Rider sleeved. For those of you wondering, Shadow Rider is still sleeved in my closet over there. I think Sylveon moves up. I think Shadow Rider moves up. I think that's the right play. This deck. I love Zorobox. Zorobox is another card that I just adore this card. And I wish it was good. I wish it was good so bad. I really, really do. We lose Chinchino, which means you have to play B-Barrel. And if you're playing B-Barrel... Wait, we also lose Galar Meowth, right? Do we? Yeah, we also lose Galar Meowth. There's no way. There's no way this deck is good. I am going to go cry myself to sleep. But I don't think this deck is good. Shadow Rider and Guardy, true. Shadow Boy did win a tournament recently. I legit think Guardy beats everything that isn't Tina / other Lost Zone boxes or Judge Path. Okay. I haven't tested this, so I'm hesitant. Oh, Zoro has Kirlia. Oh. So this is better than I was saying. You're right. That is better. Thank you, PJ. Good point. Good point. I'm gonna respond to Joe's points. I think Guardy beats everything that isn't Tina, other Lost Zone box decks, or Judge Path. How many decks are not playing those? Because Judge Path, like, you played in Mew, you played in Arceus. You're losing to Lost Zone box decks and Tina, which maybe won't play it. You probably played in Arc Regidrago. I don't see how Guardy is beating Darkrai. Psychic Energies with Banette EX? That's funny. I think Guardy's good. But I don't want to put it that high because I think if it's losing to Judge Path, then it's in trouble because people are playing Judge Path to beat Mew. I am on the Raichu V Hopium. I like that. Sky Seal Stone Raichu Fluffy Box sounds great. Do you play Miraidon in that at all? Because that sounds kind of good. Okay, so now the single prize Lost Zone decks. These ones are kind of hard for me to consider. Because I really don't know how much Scoop Up Net is going to hurt them. I think it's fair to put this one lower. I think because Sablezard needs more cards in the Lost Zone, not having Scoop Up Net is inherently worse. Right? Like these decks, like really, you just need to get to 7. Like this probably still plays Sableye, this probably still plays Sableye anyways, right? But you don't need it. Sablezard needs to get to 10, basically. Two Terra Pokemon are coming into play that are good. Can't be hit by this. Wait, no. These are not Terra Pokemon, right? Neither of these are Terra Pokemon. Am I being dumb? Give me 1 second. Gardevoir EX. This does not have the Terra rule, right? No Terra. Miraidon's also not Terra. They're just EXs. Okay. I have to differentiate those things. So then this... I think Lost Box is a little hard to judge. Yeah, Miraidon seems really cracked. I mean, he doesn't lose to it immediately, just needs to draw out of it. Yeah, that's fair. It bodies Darkrai, but Darkrai can also like just use one prizers and like boss kill the... Like, I feel like Darkrai can just boss kill the Guardies, right? He's fine with Silver breaks in, that's true. How much will Miraidon and Banette be? I want to make decks out of them. Like, how much will they cost? Miraidon will certainly be more expensive than Banette. Sablezard is okay because you can play other draw supporters, so you're not bodied by Judge. That's true, but you do need to get to 10. You need to get to 10 cards in the Lost Zone, which doesn't feel easy to me. But you probably have to play Banette, and then your turn 1 is weaker. If you go second, you're much weaker because you can't Banette turn 1. So if you go second, then you're not using Banette till the 4th turn in the game, which maybe it's more consistent to get turn 2 Sableye then. But if you go second and you like miss Colress or anything like that, you're in a lot of trouble. Sablezard feels like it's in the worst position out of these. Sablezard can also abuse cross switchers. I suppose that's true. I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I think Radzard is very good. Next format, I think Radzard's very good. So maybe you're right. Especially healing is much less prominent. Although Sablezard has a really bad time in a Goodra. Although, does any Lost Box deck really have a good time in a Goodra? I think maybe I'm going to take a cop-out and just put all of these here. I think I'm going to take a cop-out and put all of those there. I think Lost Zone Box will still be good. Sablezard can be a quad path deck with high vacuum. Thank you, Dominic. Goodra Lost Zone will suck. No, I don't think Goodra Lost Zone will suck. I don't think Goodra Lost Zone will suck, but I don't think it'll be as good as Arc Goodra. I think Arc Goodra will be better. The reason for that is that Arceus' Goodra is a better deck than Lost Zone Goodra. Lost Zone Goodra is better right now. And that's because Lugia just one-shots Arceus and then you lose. Pretty much. It's not that simple. I actually think that the Arc Goodra matchup into Lugia is a bit more complicated than that, especially because Parasol exists, but there's almost no reason to play Arc Goodra currently over Arc Duraludon. Arc Duraludon's just better generally. Because of Shred, mostly. A few other reasons as well. You can put this in bad. Let's come back to these. That's true. It can be a quad path deck with high vacuum. That's true. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. I think Kyogre will still probably be good. We do keep Energy Recycler, right? I think it's a relatively recent. Okay, it's Battle Styles, so it's still there. That's good. So Recycler's still there. I think that's good. Zamazenta will probably still be good in some capacity. I think this deck losing a very solid matchup in Lugia is a little tough. This one... yeah, I don't know. This is interesting. It is interesting. I think all of these are around the same place. I think probably each one of them is tier 2 in the meta that it's good in, if that makes sense. Radiant Charizard's really good into Arceus decks. And if I think Arceus are going to be really strong, Radzard is probably quite good. Actually, Arc Goodra losing Hyper Potion may also make this not bad. Yeah, that's definitely true. That's definitely true. Losing Ordinary Rod is tough. Why is Goodra plus Arceus better than Goodra plus Lost Zone? Both lose Parasol and Arceus Goodra loses Hyper Potion. I was saying that in our current format. But Arceus is just a really good card next format. Both of them lose stuff, but Lost Zone loses Scoop Up Nets, which is really tough. Zard and Tina are best going ahead. Interesting, okay. That's true. Yeah, I suppose that's true. Losing Ordinary Rod is pretty tough. Interesting. Did I know Ordinary Rod was leaving? I could have sworn. No, I guess that's fair enough. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense then. Losing Ordinary Rod is definitely tough for Kyogre. At the very least, it's quite tough for Kyogre. So maybe this goes down. Maybe these are actually interesting. I don't know. I think Lost Zone boxes are going to be the most interesting ones. Right. Arcgudra doesn't have a cluttered bench, which is true. Arcgudra can play... That's true. I mean, that's true now, too, Joe. Clara is still really solid. I mean, like... I think Sablezard is... I think Sablezard is better right now than most people do. I think Sablezard is still actually quite good. I think the amount of Parasol is a little annoying. And yeah, Arcgudra loses Hyper Potions. I don't think it's that bad, actually. I don't think Arcgudra without Hyper Potions is that bad. I think there are other ways to win with that deck. Yeah, Path Judge is very good. Path Roxanne is very good. In other matchups like Sablezard, you can play what's it called? Crystal Cave still, and that healing is very solid. I don't know. It's interesting. I think a lot of these decks, losing Hyper Potion is tough. I think I'm very interested to see whether or not Lost Box decks will be as strong. But I guess also if Lost Box is still popular, Sableye focused Lost Box decks are really good, because if Sableye focused Lost Box decks are having to play mirrors into heavier Comfey, that's like generally good. Losing Goon sucks, but you lose Net, so Goon doesn't really matter that much. That's interesting. It's definitely interesting. I agree that Tina will be the best. I definitely agree with that. I think Tina will definitely be the best one. I think this will be worse. But we'll see. We'll have to see, right? I don't know what this is. I'm just going to put it in bad. I'm going to put this in bad. Path Slacking. Let me read Slacking V again. It's always interesting going into new formats. 260, so it's 290. And you can just play... I don't hate this. I would prefer... Why isn't Arceus Slacking on the list? I would kind of prefer that, I think. Arceus Slacking seems kind of good, actually. Arceus Slacking seems like a better Arctina to me. Well, not better, maybe. But like Arceus Slacking Drapion seems pretty good, right? What would that lose to? Because it's a good... That's a really good Judge deck. Slacking is colorless Lugia box? Yeah, that makes sense. I think Arceus Slacking is actually probably good, though. Arceus Slacking seems kind of good. Let me say it like a 9th time. This seems mid. I think probably the best version of Lugia ends up being this one with the Gengar, but I'm not convinced that it's that good. Anyways, is Lugia Gengar better than Lugia Urshifu? Is it? I mean, Urshifu having a weakness to Mew is bad, right? But this has Shred, which is good. I mean, you could probably play a combination of the two of them, right? I think this is slightly better than this. I think this is slightly better than this, yeah. I think Lugia Gengar is a lot better than Arceus Gengar. Yeah, I think this is better, personally. I think this is bad. I have no idea what that is. I think this probably goes here as well. Lugia plus Cinderace VMAX. Sharon's Care, V-Guard Energy, and Felicity V. Oh yeah, and you can play Rad Guardy. Actually, yeah, no, that I actually do like that. I think that's actually not terrible in the format currently either. Like, defensive Lugia, I think, is not bad. I don't hate this. I don't hate this at all. I think it still goes here. I think it still goes here. Having no direct way to find things, and then also you're putting the energy into your hand when you share and scare is a little tough. For me personally, especially because so many of your special energy options are gone. But I like slacking. I do like slacking. I think Arceus slacking could be really good. I'm going to pitch that. I'm going to pitch that to my testing group after this. Yeah, of course. You have to play Path, right? Lugia can also play Umbreon. What decks, if any, are playing Radiant Eternatus now? It's pretty much just Rad Etern with Duraludon and Flying Pikachu. I personally think there is room for Radiant Etern Stonejourner to be good. I think Radiant Etern Stonejourner could be really solid. Arcdura is in 2.5. Right in the middle there of all of the Arceuses. Right here. Where'd I put it? Where'd it go? Yeah, it's right here. Meloetta Espeon? Oh, Deoxys. Like Fusion Strike. Fusion Strike Lugia. Lugia slacking might be the Lugia Path Judge deck. I agree. That seems good. You definitely need Judge, but like if you share and scare on that turn, you can't Judge. You probably have to choose between the two. That seems not bad. I don't know. I think slacking is probably... I think this is probably the premier iteration of Lugia going forward. I think this is probably the better version. I'm not 100% sure on that. I hate Lugia. I think Lugia is the biggest slight that Pokemon has ever made. That's not true. Sableye, probably. But since I've started playing again, I definitely think Lugia was a huge mistake. A huge design mistake from Pokemon, personally. This card is so unfun and so easy and just like, I don't know. I hate Lugia. And I'm glad that it's dying in some aspects. It's definitely not like gone, but it's definitely dying in some respects. Zoroark. Does this lose anything? Loses Quick Ball? Do you really care? I mean, kind of. You do kind of care about losing Quick Ball because how else are you getting Gengars in the discard? I would be happy if Zoroark was good. I don't necessarily see it being good, but I would be happy if it was. I like Zoroark a lot. I think this could be good, especially like a Sharon's Care build of Zoroark seems pretty cool. Yeah, this could be okay. I don't mind putting this like tier 2. Do I think it's better than all these decks? That's the question now. Now I'm gonna go through these. This is our tentative rating. And now I'm gonna go through all of these and see if any of these are worse than any of these. And then do that as like a process, right? So Mew is definitely better than all of these. Let's order in tier as well. I think Mew is better than Arc, is better than Guardy, is better than Tina, is better than Miraidon. I think that's definitely the order here. So now are all these better than all these? Guardy, Tina, and Miraidon. Yeah, I think pretty definitely this is better than all of these. I think this is probably proper order in tier. I think you could probably switch these. But I'm gonna put Guardy here for right now. I think Guardy's strong. Zoroark, okay, sorry. I am reading your chat. I'm reading the chats, sorry. Loki don't hate slacking. Meloetta Lugia seems okay. Yeah, I agree. I think Lugia with Fusion Strike energy is interesting. 4 guard, 4 gift, 4 DT. I think Zoroark will be good. It always beats my Goodra. It's just too fast. Goodra just has a bad matchup in a Zoroark. It is... Lugia hasn't done that great. That's not true. Archeops might be worse overall, to be honest. Yeah, but Lugia enables Archeops. Like, that's the thing, is like Lugia on its own is really good. Archetypes on its own is like whatever. It struggles against Duraludon, Mew, etc. I disagree. I like Duraludon has to find both of its parasols to not just lose. I disagree that Mew struggles with Lugia, or that Lugia struggles with Mew. I think Lugia beats Mew. Better Darkrai where it does big damage T2. I like Zoroark. I like what I'm hearing. Also, one of its worst matchups in Regis is just gone, which is nice. Zoro plus Path might be cool. I agree with that. Can bounce into Klefki too. That's very true. Okay. Thank you guys. Thank you guys for selling me on Zoro. This makes me feel less bad about having bought my Zoroark lines. Ever becomes popular, that heal item comes in. I don't know what that is. LDF, can you tell me what that is? Bounce into Klefki. Yep, eyes. Zoro going to Klefki is kind of insane. I agree. This is very good. Miss out hopping the pond for Florida. You're bringing... PJ, you better be inviting me to Cube. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. You better invite me to Cube. I love cubing. Dylan, Orlando's going to be your first regional. That's awesome, dude. Be sure to come say hi. I will be wearing a TSS jersey. Please come say hello. I would love to meet you. Okay, back to what I was doing. I was just catching up on chat real quick. So this is definitely really good. I think this probably ends up somewhere up here. I think I'm kind of being convinced that this ends up somewhere up here as well. Let's see. Ordered in tiers. I think this is probably lower. I think this is probably lower. I think this probably goes a little higher. I think that probably goes a little lower. I think Fluffy Box is okay. I think this can go here. I think Darkrai will probably be a little better than this. Yeah, that feels okay. This is definitely Copium, though. Putting this right here is, like, certainly Copium, right? Chat, this is certainly Copium. Heck yeah. Item that heals $30 Pokemon. Oh, okay. Interesting. Yeah, I could see that being a problem for Zoroark. Okay, so now do we think every deck here is better than every deck here? Immediately the answer is no. We'll move Lugia slacking up. To like here. This is certainly the worst of these. I think this is pretty low. I think this is pretty low. I think this is pretty high. I think this is pretty high, tier 2.5. I think this is definitely better than Tina. This losing healing, I think, makes it not that good. I think that's probably better than that. Okay, so the question is, do we think Palkia Kyurem is better than Lugia Urshifu? And the answer is definitely no, right? So I think we can move this up and this down. Or maybe we just keep this one down and move this down. I think that seems pretty reasonable. To be honest, I think this seems pretty reasonable. I am a little bit on the Palkia Kyurem Copium, but I think Oranguru definitely hurts this deck more. More than I'd like it to. Yeah. Is Banette worse than these? I think Shadow Rider is worse than Banette, probably. I think Rotom Visar is good. I think this deck is good. I think I'm gonna put this higher than Tina, actually. I think Rotom Visar will be pretty solid. Okay. Ordered in tiers. I don't know. It's probably Palkia first. Although losing Inteleon really sucks. Yeah, all of these are definitely better than all of these, in my opinion. Ice Rider might be okay. Arceus coming back to the format probably makes Ice Rider okay. These are okay. This goes down, I think. I think control is very meta dependent. Like, oh, I mean, it's this, right? Like, it's Palkia Ice Rider is the Ice Rider I'm talking about, not that. So we can move that down. I think that's bad. I think this probably can go up. I think this is better than the other things, but still worse than all of this for sure. I'm not going to order these. That's just not going to happen. I don't care enough. Lunar Rock. It's sad. See you around. Was an interesting chat. Got recorded. Thank you for stopping by, Joe. I appreciate it. I'm a huge fan, so it means a lot. You sticking around and hanging out. Urshi can lean into Lost Zone and Rapid Political Sableye. That could be fine. I think Rad Eater and Urshi will be better with like Raihan and Melanie and Octillery. I think that will just be better personally. Yeah, this looks good. I'm pretty happy with this list. Arceus Slaking would probably go like around here. Probably around there would be my guess. I'm pretty happy with this though. This might not deserve to be this high. But I think Miraidon makes a lot of things better. Yeah, we'll keep it. Those can be my hot takes. So yeah, this is the tier list. What do you guys think? How's it look? I'm pretty happy with this, I think, overall. Let's actually... PJ actually sent me a... PJ sent me a link to, like, next format... like, next format decks. So we can look at a few here, I think. I'm down to do that. Take a look at some decks. Here's some Lost Box stuff. Yep, Sablezard makes sense. Path Sablezard looks cool. Yeah, I mean, like, very, very standard. Wait, there's no Zard here? Interesting. Very interesting. 3 energy recyclers. That's based. This is all Lost Box. Here's Tina with a Delphox V and the Radiant Eevee for Luxray. I want this to be good. Oh man, do I want this to be good. This is the coolest deck I've ever seen. Is this Earthen Sealstone? Oh man, oh baby, do I want this deck to be good. This is so cool. I'm so excited. I cannot wait to try that. Any sleeper options that are not on the list? J. Arceus Slaking. Arceus Slaking is a deck that I think will be very good. I think it'll be very good. Okay, this is all Lost Box stuff. I don't really know how to navigate this page. Is there... Can I Google Translate it? Yeah. There we go. Tournament results. Take a look. Does this have... It probably doesn't have... Yeah, no. This is last format. Does it have lists? Yeah, a couple Guardy ones. This is interesting. Yeah, the Gallade. What is that card? Is that Klefki? Yeah, that makes sense. Klefki, Radiant Serena. That's cool. Gardevoir Mewtwo V Union is very interesting. 4 Houndstone. 1 Banette. 1/1 Banette. Interesting. It's all very interesting. I don't know. Yeah, I don't want to get too far into like looking at decks yet. Oh, PJ just messaged me. Pokebook. Decklist. Oh, awesome. Thank you, PJ. Let's look at some Miraidon decks. Okay, Miraidon Regieleki is interesting. This is what I was talking about earlier. This looks so good. In my head, this looks insane. The Miraidon with the Flaffy line and 1 Ampharos EX seems so good. I'm very excited to try that. Hey, Laird? Laird, is that how you pronounce your name? It's interesting. 2 Rotom. Zeraora. That's interesting. I don't think that would be particularly good. Sorry, let me articulate my words. I got a degree in theater. I shouldn't be messing up that bad. There's no way this is good still, I think. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this deck is actually kind of good, but I feel like it struggles with Mew anyways. What am I looking for here? I was looking for something specific. Oh yeah, I wanted to see Rotom V-Star results. It looks like there aren't any, so that's fine. Zoro. Yep. Zoroark Gardevoir is very interesting. I like this. Pardon me. I like this a lot, actually. It might be difficult to set up, but I like it. I like it a lot, actually. That seems very cool. Oh, this is a pretty standard list. Just a lot of alt arts. I'm interested in this. I like that for sure. Single strike, whatever. Is there any Lugia on here? Here's Arceus V-Star. Let's see how these look. Arceus Gardevoir. Yeah, this makes sense. It's just like a healing version. I don't hate that. Arceus Mewtwo V Union is cool. I don't hate this. No Guardy here is interesting. Okay, this is not legal anymore. Yeah, this is all Arkintel, which is no longer legal. Take a look at some Lugia stuff. Yeah, Fusion Strike, Single Strike, Meloetta. Okay. This could be interesting. I don't dislike this at all. I don't dislike this either, actually. I actually quite like this. I think Umbreon is really good. I'm interested in that. Okay, this is a lot of single strike stuff. Meh. Kind of meh on this one. These are interesting. A lot of these decks are very, very interesting. What site is this? It is PokeCAbook.com. I think I can just put it in the chat. I think. There you go. Not my full name being my YouTube channel. It's all very interesting. Arceus Banette. It's kind of cool. I don't hate the idea of Arceus with this, and yeah, just the get back to Sharon's care. That's kind of cool, actually. I don't hate that at all. This is certainly bad, right? Armarouge. This is interesting. The Revavroom. Okay. All right. Well, yeah, I think these are all cool. I'm interested in how we will progress forward with this, but yeah, I feel pretty solid. I'm gonna go ahead and end stream because I have work in a little bit, but I will be back next week, hopefully with some fun content for like pre-Orlando. But I want to say thank you all so much for watching the stream. I hope that you enjoyed, and yeah, if you want to follow my Twitch, I'm gonna try and stream a tournament over there sometime this week. And if you're interested in coaching pre-Orlando, I have a few spots still open because I work another job, so I don't have that many spots. But my Metafy coaching and my Twitch are both in the description of this video, so please go click on those if you want to. But yeah, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you have any hot takes on my tier list, I am gonna post this on my Twitter, so feel free to tell me how bad I am. And yeah, thanks so much, guys. Have a good one.